Toronto puts an end to Golden State's NBA championship dominance. That trophy is coming north of the border. The final score, 114-110 Toronto. Now here in Winnipeg, thousands of people packed Bell MTS Place to watch Game 6. CBC's Ahmar is there. Ahmar, what is happening?
2019. Marjorie, this crowd was absolutely raucous here tonight. 2,500 Raptors fans cheering at the top of their lungs, becoming friends, becoming champions together. And you can hear it right here. They're fans. We've got a fan right here. Can you tell us what this Raptors win means for you?
Oh, it's everything, man. Like I said, I have kids, I have a wife, but this is huge. Like, for me personally and for the country. This is big.
What was it like for you to hear that final buzzer and know that the Toronto Raptors are NBA champions?
Honestly, man, I've been waiting for this ever since I've been a basketball fan, baby.
Let's go Raptors! Let's go! As we can tell, the fans here are enjoying it just like they are all across Canada. This is like nothing they've ever felt before, and that trophy is coming north, March. And at the end of the day, you know, these fun guys, all of these fun guys are having a great time. So I'm going to throw it back to you while we have some fun here. So back to you, March.
Thanks, Ahmar. Fun guy indeed. Thank you. That is CBC's Ahmar Khan.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jillian Taylor. A fire completely destroyed a North End building early this morning. CBC's Ahmar Khan joins us now live from Jarvis Avenue. Ahmar?
Jillian, the fire started around 1 a.m. this morning, and the building and everything inside it is gone. About 27 artists call this building their community and workspace. Now their work is no longer.
The Millennium Library continues to be an issue for many people in the city. One group took their concerns to City Hall today. CBC's Ahmar Khan joins us now. Ahmar, what's the group doing there today?
Janet, well, ultimately they're here because they're frustrated. It's been a couple months since these new security measures have been put in place, and so far they're not going anywhere. The protest was organized by Millennium for All, and this is not the first time that they've organized an event like this. Just last month, they put together a read-in event, which was held at the Millennium Library, just outside where security would normally be checking somebody. So today they held a readout event where different speakers got up on that mic and they read out from their favorite books or whatever books was on their mind. So what they're also wanting is changes.
Minister Justin Trudeau will be in Winnipeg tonight. The Prime Minister will speak to Liberal Party donors this evening. CBC's Ahmar Khan joins us now live from the Forks to explain. Ahmar?
Janet, the Prime Minister will be speaking here at the Forks in a room full of 125 supporters at 7:45. This is his second donor event today, the earlier one being in Nanaimo, British Columbia. Now, this comes on the heels of the SNC Lavalin controversy as more reports continue to come out about that. The Canadian press is reporting the SNC Lavalin affair wasn't the first time former Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould clashed with Justin Trudeau. They also had what's described as a, quote, significant disagreement over the appointment of a Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Meantime, the leader of the opposition is trying to keep up the pressure over the SNC Lavalin controversy. Andrew Scheer is counting on the Commons Ethics Committee to get to the bottom of the affair when it begins hearings. Tory and NDP leaders want to hear more from former Liberal cabinet ministers Jody Wilson-Raybould and Jane Philpott. But speaking at his appearance in BC today, the Prime Minister said his government has already taken extraordinary steps to allow a full airing out of the issues.
We moved forward as a government and granted an unprecedented waiver, which allowed a full testimony on the matter at hand. A waiver of not just not just cabinet confidentiality, but solicitor-client privilege as well, to make sure that the Justice Committee could hear a full airing of everything in regards to the former Attorney General's time as Attorney General and possible pressures she was under around Lavalin.
So, Ahmar, what can we expect tonight?
Well, tonight we're only going to be hearing really remarks. The Prime Minister won't be taking any questions from the media. That's going to come tomorrow as he takes some tours around the city. But just a programming note, the Prime Minister will be joining the CBC's Ismaila Alpha on Up to Speed around 4:40, and that interview will be on the News Hour. Janet?
Thank you very much. That's Ahmar Khan reporting live tonight. As a result of the heat wave we've been having over the last few days, that's according to the province of Manitoba. The deaths happened over the weekend. They are related to hyperthermia. CBC's Ahmar Khan is on this story. He joins us now live. Ahmar, what can you tell us?
Janet, we found out just earlier today from Dr. Denise Coe, who is the Emergency Preparedness and Response Medical Officer for the province of Manitoba, that 2 people did indeed die over this weekend as a result of hyperthermia. Now, the age and residence has not been made public of these 2 people. It's not clear if they're seniors, they're homeless. It's not clear what has happened. Now, the province has since released a statement saying Manitoba Health, Seniors, and Active Living is aware of 2 deaths over the weekend related to hyperthermia. We are working with the Chief Medical Examiner to confirm a cause of death as well as a potential association with drug use. Now, the Environment Canada has from this morning released a extreme heat warning, with the Humidex saying that parts of southern Manitoba could be going up to as high as 38. Now, as we mentioned, some of the province's most vulnerable people are the elderly and the homeless. Now, we don't know again if one of those people are the people who have passed away are elderly or homeless, but we're going to bring in Cindy Titus, who's a communications coordinator here at Main Street Project. Cindy, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing to make sure the city's most vulnerable are being kept cool?
Yeah, Main Street Project is very aware that people who are experiencing homelessness tend to be very vulnerable to heat-related illness because they're outside for long periods of time. So some things that we've done to help that situation are we've added an additional water fountain to our emergency shelter to be able to access more water. We've added some mats for daytime sleeping so folks can come in off of the street during the day. During very, very hot weather, we will also add a temporary cooling shelter outside of our Martha Street facility, and that's just basically a tent with some shade for people. There's a hose to cool down, and then there's a lot of water for them to access as well, and that's bottled water. We also are part of a coordinated response with other service providers in our sector to make sure that all of the agencies are working together on a coordinated response to keep people safe during the hot weather.
Cindy, how can Manitobans and Winnipeggers make sure that their fellow residents are being safe out here?
It's really, really important that we all look out for each other. Particularly, it's important for us to be looking out for those who are most vulnerable in the city. If you'd like to help, you can always donate bottled water to an agency like Main Street Project, other supplies like ball caps, sunscreen, t-shirts, and shorts. And most importantly, if you see someone on the street who seems to be, suffering from some sort of heat-related distress, definitely call 911 as soon as you can. It's very, very important to make that call to make sure that person gets the help they need.
Cindy Titus, Communications Coordinator with Main Street Project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, just a reminder, if you do want to beat the heat, stay hydrated, make sure you're wearing a light-colored shirt, a hat, anything that you can do. Try to stay out of the heat as much as possible. Back to you, Janet.
Janet, we've seen people wearing white to every single street party here and game, but it's more than that now. A lot of people are pushing the limits. We have seen some very creative white outfits. Joining me now is CBC's Ahmar Khan, who has been working on a story about wearing team pride.
Marjorie, as we know, there's so much talent in this city. So a local artist went from painting Winnipeg walls and restaurants to working with the wives and girlfriends of the Winnipeg Jets. This is the story of how he's become a small part of the team's playoff run.
How I put them on was where I got to be a little more creative.
For 26 years, Pat Lazo has used Winnipeg's buildings, walls, and restaurants as his canvas.
Silkscreen looking.
Now Lazo is getting to display his newfound love of hockey by creating Winnipeg Jets custom jackets. Jackets will be worn by the wives and girlfriends of the players on the team during the playoff run.
To see my artwork being worn by the Jets' wives is pretty cool.
The opportunity came as a bit of a surprise to Lazo, who just started playing the game of hockey 3 years ago.
Learning to skate at 38 years old isn't really isn't too common, but I mean, but now that
I have like a little bit more of an understanding of the game, but I didn't expect to be doing anything like this for the Jets.
In January, Lazo was connected with Sam Wheeler, the wife of Winnipeg Jets captain Blake Wheeler. Wheeler loved his artwork and unique style, so she asked him to design 21 custom jackets for the players' significant others.
Spray paint as the medium, which isn't always accepted art form here in Winnipeg, I guess. But I mean, the more and more we get to showcase it, we can show that it's not just a tool of destruction, like it's a tool of creativity.
The names and numbers are graffiti lettered. There's unique crests on the back and a maple leaf on the right arm. Doing all the artwork by hand, Lazo was able to make every jacket special.
With every name is a new challenge, so it was cool to be able to be creative that way.
As consumers turn towards online for their purchases, he believes it says a lot about the team to see them invest in local talent.
There's all these things online you can order, but I mean, to support somebody who's hand painting, creating something in your province, I think it's huge.
As the games take on, knowing that people across the province and possibly the country will see his artwork bring a smile to his face.
I'm pretty proud to be able to have my artwork on the jackets that are going to be seen by so many people.
Now, Ahmar, I had the chance to see those jackets in person. I was walking behind the Jets' wives and girlfriends when I was leaving here on Wednesday. Jackets are very cool, so one has to ask, where do you get them?
Well, as of right now, they're kind of exclusive, but Pat Lazo, who's the artist, has said if there is enough demand and Winnipeggers start contacting him, that could very well soon change.
Very cool story. It is nice to see the wives and the girlfriends invest in local talent. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
That is CBC's Ahmar Khan. Well, that'll do it for us here at Donald and Graham. Again, the Whiteout party gates open up at 6:30. The game gets underway at 8:30. And we will have more coverage for you of this online at cbc.ca/Manitoba and later tonight. Reporting live, Marjorie Dowhouse, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Thank you, Marjorie. Well, there's a significant development to report in a story CBC News first told you about earlier.